Hi, Bill Henshaw here again, another one of my YouTube videos that you win in court. And this one, especially given current events, and now we've had a murder in Los Angeles of a black man that was riding a bike. Who the hell knows what crime he could have committed? Um, but this is about law enforcement thugs, and that's what you have to call them these days, not peace officers. Back in the day when I was growing up in the 1950s, we never had crap like this that went on. That said, a big problem I have, and I don't know in this case or Kenosha or anywhere else offhand, and this is a statistic I would love to know, is how many of these officers with guns are ex-military. Because people like that don't have any business being in, especially law enforcement, and maybe not even as peace officers. I mean, if you can't tell a difference between Kabul, Afghanistan, and Kenosha, Wisconsin, you have a hell of a problem and shouldn't be anywhere close to a six-shooter, among other things. So this has to change, and I would take the position in future litigation, and my paperwork is going to reflect it, that anybody that hires ex-military for law enforcement jobs is equally liable for their acts or omissions committed in capacities when they're not acting officially. You just have to know better than this. And that's the way it should be. The law enforcement thugs should have personal liability. And if we get our government back that we should have, they will. And a lot of them will be going to jail for a long time, not like that bastard Johannes Meserly who gets off in like 14 months for good behavior. Now, give me a break already. But this is what needs to change and stop all of this and get back to relative normal in any event and get people to understand, especially in law enforcement, that you haven't been trained, for example, to know that we are not persons required to have a driver's license. Okay, we're not required to register a vehicle so that we can drive it, quote unquote. These are all commercial terms. We're not required to have insurance, which is admiralty jurisdiction, over which the state court does not have jurisdiction. Accordingly, you law enforcement thugs out there, get on your bosses and ask them to tell you why you haven't been trained to know any better, and limit most of your activities to artificial corporate entities who are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. This isn't that hard. It really isn't. And just stop this nonsense and get back to where we have rights that we can invoke, creator endowed and inalienable rights secured by the Constitution, instead of these government granted privileges that these 14th War Amendment citizens have. And that's all you have out there, privileges. That's all they think you have. They can revoke them at any time without notice. And the current occupant of the White House has stated, by the way, November 1st, 2018, he has the power, apparently courtesy of an executive order as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to revoke the citizenship emanating from the 14th War Amendment. Now, this was said in the context of the then masses of hordes trying to get across the country and immigrate in here from Mexico and what have you. But that's the same citizenship the government thinks that all of us have. And if they can do it in that context, why can't they do it to you or me? Well, the reason is we don't have that citizenship. And among other things, I've got the California Supreme Court saying contemporaneously that no white citizen owes their citizenship to the recently enacted amendment. Cases Van Valkenburg v. Brown, 43 Cal 43. Send me an email at youwinincourt@gmail.com. I'll get the information on my constitutional defense packets that you'll find very helpful. And, it explains a lot of what's going on here. And you make challenges based on these unopposed jurisdictional issues. This is what stops them in their tracks, like I just did in my Oakland felony case. They finally realized after having the kid a year in jail without even a preliminary hearing that there wasn't any jurisdiction and that they were going to be reversed. This is what we have to start doing. And as I've just said in some recent videos, this is a black kid I was helping, making what looked like all the world like way supremacist arguments. But those are the ones that win. And that's what we need to do, start working together and challenging these law enforcement thugs and holding them personally responsible in a common law court of general jurisdiction, exercising the judicial power of a state admitted into this Union, Article 4, Section 3, and or judicial power of the United States. We can get there both ways. It's not easy to do right now. I've got another petition going to the 9 parts asking them to order the district courts to file all of our documents presented to them addressed to the circuit court, which is an Article 3 judicial court, and the district court has that concurrent jurisdiction, and we have to get back to it. Because if they don't, there are no judicial courts in any of these so-called states. And without judicial courts, no judicial process. All of their laws are bills of attainder, bar none, taking of life, liberty, or property without judicial process. This is the type of argument we need to be making. So like I say, to learn more about that, send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. And meanwhile, like the video, subscribe, tell all your friends, get the word out. The more of us that do this, especially across a wider spectrum now, the quicker we're going to get these bastards off our back. And we have an unprecedented window of opportunity to do all of it. So that said, send me an email and we'll go from there. I'll get you the information. You're going to love all of it. Thank you.